Welcome back to Factorio Masterclass. My name is Nilaus, and today we have an amazing design. This is about upcycling blue circuits, which is also the source of legendary blue circuits, legendary green circuits, and legendary red circuits all in one. And it's so ridiculously amazing, this design, that I'm just going to give you the conclusion. The conclusion is how to turn 3 plastic into 9 legendary blue circuits per second in one block. It's just amazing, and it's so good. So this is what we're going to do today. It's of course an endgame design, so we're going to be designing it with legendary everything. And of course, if you don't have legendary everything because you want to upcycle this, then it also works for a lower productivity, lower quality, but then upgraded when you have the infinite circuits that this build will basically get us. It is actually so good that you can also use it as a source of iron and copper, which is kind of ridiculous, but well, let's dive into it. And as usual with these designs, they are available to Patreon supporters. So if you are a Patreon supporter, thank you very much for supporting the channel, and you get access to these blueprints and save games. So you can just plop them down into your own game. Or if you are not, or choose not to, then you can just watch the design and build along, because that is always available. All right, so these are basically the ingredients we're going to use today, and then we're going to be showing you how to go through this. So let's start by making an idea. So the idea is that we want to get this into legendary. So the way we're going to do it is we're actually going to do it by saying we want to use productivity, maximum productivity. If you look on the right hand side, it says productivity 300%. In order to get 300%, you must have, that's not it, somewhere there is a blue circuit up here. You must have level 13 unlocked. This is level 14 that's available, so that means 13 is unlocked. And if you have 13, it gives 130% extra processing unit productivity, which combined with the inherent 50% from the EM plant plus the 175 from the 5 legendary productivity modules gives us the maximum 300%. What this means is that you are putting in resources for one blue circuit, and then you get 4 blue circuits out, which just so happens that when you put 4 blue circuits into a recycler, then you get the resources coming out corresponding to 1 blue circuit. That means that there is a net neutral. Let's put it over here so you don't start ranting about speed modules. So this will produce 4, and this will give us resources for 1, and resources for 1 goes into gets out here and becomes 4, and that means these ones are net neutral. There's no loss in this, there's no gain in this, which means that the only thing that changes when this one sort of flows between high productivity and quality is that there is a chance that something gets upcycled, and that sort of removes the loops. That means the only thing I have to put into a loop like this is how much that goes out of the loop as in increased quality, which again means that it actually doesn't matter how what the quality is here, because if it's in this case 24.8% that it gets upcycled to a higher quality, that means it's 24.8% of new resources I have to put into the next cycle. And likewise, if I just happen to move this over here, and therefore it would be affected by beacons, then it would only be 12.3% that would be quality coming out, but that means just that needs to be replenished. It'll still be a closed loop here, with the only exception is that now 12.3% gets sort of upcycled into the next loop. So one of the things that I was looking for was saying, okay, I did like an initial design like here just to get a sense of it, and what I saw was like if I had 8 of these, I needed 80 of these recyclers, and it's just not very sustainable. Then I started looking at like designs of like, okay, can I squeeze it in? Like how many can I realistically squeeze in here? And I was like, because I don't want to hit with the beacon, so we'll look at like this. Okay, how much is that? And oh, I actually need to go like this. There we go, like this. That was like my idea, and we're still seeing like there's a massive surplus here, so you need basically 8 of these, and then that's just not sustainable. The idea here is that this is actually a really good idea, what I'm showing here, because by having this automatic inserter going back in here, then I don't have to sort of use what I'm doing here, like a lot of stuff on the belt, and a lot of belts if we look at this thing, this has massive problems. Like there's way too much space being consumed here. There's way too much space being consumed and dealt with filtering of stuff so that we get the different filters and then locally buffers and all that stuff. I don't even have to explain how this is. It's just, you can see it's a giant spaghetti mess. So my idea was, what if we can do something like this, where it actually goes, and if you know, look at it like this, and now I'm allowing it to be going into a beacon, then we're going to go here, and then we can actually see that I am consuming more blue circuits than I am producing. Which means that this can keep up with that. There is also another alternative, and that is if we want to use the level 2 here. These ones. This might also be something that some people would prefer because it has less impact on quality. Now you can see we get 17.3% out. But now the quality here is actually also dipping. It's now only 8.1 that we're recycling per second, while in the other case it was 13.6. So the question is, we just compare the numbers. We say it's 13.6, and then we take only the quality tier, that's 0.123. That means we get 1.67 upcycled resources per second from this thing here. But what if we were sort of going a little bit down, and then that would be like a higher percent. Can you remember what it was? Nope, I can't remember, so I'm gonna have to do it again. This here, and that was like 17.3. Yes, okay, so this one would be 0.173. That is a lower number. So even though this has less impact on quality, overall speed is better in this case. So this is the foundation of what we want to do. So now let's start designing this into some kind of space or some kind of module. If we build something like this, so what happens now? I'm going to need to get it. I'm also going to get some. Let's take this one. I think this is a fine location. There. That will be our baseline. Here. Good. There. So this. Like that. Okay, so now this goes up here, put in here, gets recycled. And what happens now is that 12.3% becomes higher quality, and the 87.7% goes back. That means that almost exclusively this is getting what it needs. That means I can just take a belt down here. I can get inbounds. It doesn't even need to be that fast. And we're going to be using these from the editor extended mods, so we can generate some resources here for us. There we go. And that works. And let's see, I am going to do there and flip, and you are going to be, whoops, there, and we'll also get this inbound. Just inventing some of this because that's so. Now what we're seeing is this is recycling, but oh no, there's a problem. Well, that needs to be solved, and I'm going to use this method here that I already have. Let's take that here. This is just a normal box. And then I want to take anything that is uncommon or higher quality out into that location. Alright, so now it's working, and everything that gets ejected here is going to be forced in here with this push, and this push is always taking priority over inserters, so it will not jam. It will always be able to push out here into this one, and then it will supplement as needed. You can see now these are not really doing much, and this one is now filling up with goodies. So we're gonna actually take this part here and then flip it over on the other side, and then, you know what, how about we just get this one, and that, for now, let's just kill it. There, so let's just get rid of it. So this is actually really good. So what we're doing now is we're putting everything that is higher quality back on the belt, the main belt, and until it's done, there we go. And then at this one it gets something, then it just ejects it out and stacked. Right, this is perfect. Then we just need to copy this string, right? I think we could just basically say, hey, I just want one more of this. Let's get that up here. And then basically say, okay, this one is actually going to be just the same, but one quality up. Like that. And then you're going to be grabbing it from this belt. Here. And this one up here will then be deleting everything that passes by. So now this should also work somewhat at least. It goes in, goes up here. Now this one will then be updated one up like this, so that it's only the higher quality that goes up, because all of the uncommon quality goes back in here. This looks pretty good, right? But there is actually something we could do to make it even better. And that would be, see here we're putting the uncommons out on the belts and then picking them up right here. Wouldn't it be cool if I could do this and then have these be uncommon here and this one be uncommon there. This and over on the other side. Whoops. And then I could then do there. So now it's only the rare quality that is output from here. So this will now output up here. Which, see, this is then unfortunately the issue that happens, is that this can get stuck because it is not picking this one up for some odd reason and putting it in here, and now it's stuck. This is one of those things that can absolutely happen, which means that it was not a good idea to do this. But if I hadn't done this, you would have thought that it was not necessary. So what I'm going to do is I'm both going to set them up here, but I'm also allowing them to go out on the belt. That just means that it's some of the green, the uncommon quality will go up here and get picked up, while other stuff will just go up. So this one is also another thing we can also add up here, except it also goes up in quality. And this one also goes up in quality like this, and these are both going to the next pattern, and lo and behold, I think we have something that is sustainable. Let's build that for the entire thing. Let's do it like this, and kill this part, and then go, that is the normal, the uncommon, the rare, the epic, and not the legendary, because that doesn't make any sense. Let's see. This will then be one up, rare quality like that, and then this will only be the epic quality or higher here, and this will also only be epic quality or higher. There, and then the last one will be the epic quality here, here, and this will then only be legendary quality now. And I will not have anything that moves further, because if it is legendary quality, it will be output here. And that means now I can take only the legendary quality out here. Like this. And then delete everything. So that means this is what I want. I want the legendary quality coming in here. So what if I do a little trick like this? That means now I can take, let's see, here, turn you around. Anything that is not legendary quality and therefore gets deleted will that need to go back to the beginning. Yeah. Okay, so then it sort of gets another loop around, and now I don't have to delete anything. This will just loop around, and hopefully things will work. These are building up, and then we have all of these things out. So what I'm exporting is actually not blue quality or blue circuits, it is the ingredients for blue circuits. But it doesn't matter whether it's the ingredients or it's the other stuff, it just means that this thing here, as it loops around, just keeps going. Now let's think about what could go wrong in this design. Well, this is a random distribution we have when doing this, which means that there will be possible that there is a misbalance on this belt, which is something that does happen sometimes. If we look at this, I'm just going to be taking whatever is on this belt, identify it, and then look at it here. So you can see there shouldn't be anything accumulating, because the amount of red circuits should be eating all of the green circuits. But because it is a random chance, there is a chance that this one there just happen to be more green or uncommon quality green circuits generated compared to the uncommon quality red circuits, because these red circuits will be picked up, and when they've sort of been spun around again, and then they will be picked up, and then they will be eating some of these. So now this decreases the number, because it's 2 red circuits and 20 green circuits. So there will be a lot more of the greens generally, but that means it can actually jam. So what I have decided to do, and it is possible to do something better, is that I'm going to just eject it, because this is ridiculously effective. So what I'm going to do is I'm just simply going to say, like, okay, we're going to have like a value of this, and saying, okay, if it's minus 800, that means if it's more than 800, then I will eject it. Then I don't want it in the belt, because then the belt might just overstack. And this is like that. Oops. Click that one. And then it's also really important that I don't accidentally eject this. So this one's just minus 2000. Just I have to make sure that I don't sort of eject the green circuits by accident. Did that even make any sense? I don't know. This is here minus, and this is just 200. It's a much lower number, but it also has higher variance because it's a lower percentage chance. I don't know if that's even correctly. I know what I mean, but I'm not sure that's technically what I mean. But what I'm saying is that since every recycle here, let's go that one. Every one of these scrap recycling here is 5 electronic circuits and either 0 or 1 advanced circuit. That means over time, because there is a factor 10 difference, the electronic circuits will be much more likely to sort of fluctuate around the expected value, while the unlikely event is more likely to fluctuate. So basically, if you flip a coin 100 times or 1,000 times, then you're probably get around 500 of heads and tails. But if you have something that's only 1 in 100 chance, and you flip that 10 times, then it's not very likely that you get 901 and 100 of the other. Yeah, it's much less likely that you're going to get 990 versus 10 of these events. Yeah, there's more variation. So therefore, I have to do something about this. I don't think that was a good explanation, but who cares? Hopefully you get it. Otherwise, copy it. Let's see, just get this one. I just not need this to not go out there. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to take this value here and then add it, or technically subtract it. That means we now have negative numbers, and then I'm basically going to say anything here, each value, if it's greater than 0, then output it as a value. I don't even have to do that. I can just do this, and I'm gonna do it this way because we have never used these here. So let's use it and just set the filter on this side. Yeah, set output side. No, set filter on the output side. That is not that one. This one. Good. So this is anything. I don't need this one anymore. We're gonna get things inbound, and if one of these actually go above, then I'm actually needing this because I want to see if any of these are close. No, they're not. They're pretty close to. Oh, but if they go out, then we have to just eject it somewhere. There, for now, just there. Good. So that means this module is actually ready, and we can look at it. It's a very nice and slim model, so it actually just so happens to be something that can fit very gracefully into a city block built here. I think this is about as far down as we can go, but I don't think I need to go that far down. And there we go. I'm gonna go a little bit more mid here. Yep. And then we are going to be taking this thing here. This is our value. There. And this is then our ingredients for the blue circuits that we can make. And because I moved it one over, then it stopped working. There. So what we're looking at now is a really good build. So how fast is this building? Well, first of all, you can see here none of the top ones are working. So it takes quite a while for it to saturate, but it's only pulling in like, this one is working constantly and then pulling in 13 or 12.3%. And this one is working constantly later on, but only pulling in 12.3%, and so on and so forth. Then it'll actually, basically all of it be working all the time. And that gives us the resources that we want. And then the question is then, we now need to do something here, which is honestly like, it's kind of simple to do, but also I wanted to make a little bit more advanced. Because I can, I can build this like this maybe. We're going to be needing a beacon, several beacons actually, so let's get those here, and we're going to get a, we also definitely need that. Let's just put it down here. Alright, so what we need here is that we need to get, I want this to be into some boxes, like that, here. And this doesn't need to go here. So this will be the green circuits going down here. Let's do that. This will be there. So if I lead this down here, there we go. The reason why I'm putting it into these boxes is actually because I want them to be like this. They should be available to the logistics network eventually. I'm not going to do that right now, but that's the intention. Then I'm also going to do the same thing on this side, where I'm going to... Why is that not... Okay, then you just go a little bit up. Here and there. There. Because that also means that any misbalance between these two items will go in here as well. And now this will be available to logistics network as well. And then I'm just going to go something silly like this. There we go. Fill it up, and this will now be available to the logistics network, and that's happy. So this is chugging along as always. Now there are a number of things that can go wrong. So we've talked about one thing, and that is if the variance here means that it will actually fill up the belt with maybe with green circuits of one kind or the other, then it can jam. So that's what we take care of by ejecting anything in surplus, and we need to figure out what you can either eject them and just put them back into logistics network and just don't care about it, or we can delete them. I'm going to delete them here because I want this to be not sort of overflowing the planetary logistics network with junk. So this is going here. Now, what else could go wrong? Well, since this is also intended to be as available to the network, that means that I actually need to make sure that I don't take anything from here until it has reached a certain level. Right, and what would that level be? That would be, in this case, I'd say, okay, how much do I want available in the network? I think I want to see maybe only enable it when this one. I'm not looking at how much is available in the global network. I'm looking at how much is available in this box, because this is the only thing that matters. Let's say 500. It's only when it's higher than 500 you're allowed to take it in, and then these ones should then be greens, and that should be a higher number, let's say 5,000, but there are two boxes, so that's 2,500. Then it'll be sort of evenly, and it takes equally long time. So that's one thing, and now that means that we now have blue circuits, red circuits, and green circuits legendary available to the logistics network. Now what happens is that, what happens usually is that I really want to make some legendary roboports, because they're amazing. So that is drawing on a lot of blue circuits, red circuits, and suddenly we just consume all these red circuits, and this one is full of green circuits, and then it stalls again. So again, we need to be able to have something that is a way to so this will now stall if the boxes here are full, or if these boxes are full and then the belt fills up and then they get stuck. So we need to make sure that we delete stuff that isn't really necessary, which is Also an interesting prospect, just deleting legendary items. I'm going to make an assumption here, and that assumption is that I will never have too many red circuits compared to green circuits. It's just never happened. You always need more red circuits than green circuits, especially since this comes out in a 10-to-1 ratio, and you definitely need more than 10-to-1 ratio of reds to greens. So I think it's safe to say we will never delete the red circuits. If you want it, you can do that. But I would say, okay, we're going to be deleting this if it goes too high. So we're going to set up something to figure out what is the ejection criteria for this. Let's start with a condition, because we need to have some kind of condition that's true. And what I want to say is that either this one is almost full, that means I need to monitor these two boxes, or this box is empty, pretty much empty, right? So this is now, we now get this. So I actually think this, I'd like to get up to 1000, so we have at least 1000 stored here. Now, if one of the conditions is if there's not enough red circuits and there's too much green circuits, then it's gonna jam. So that's what we want to say. So that we want to say if this is less than 500, and condition is important, when this is greater than 20,000, right? That's a high amount. This one can store 2, 4, 6, 8. Oops. Let's just get it a little bit down. 8,000. So this is more than 12,000. I don't know. It doesn't really matter that much. And then we're going to be doing that. And if that's the case, then we're going to be ejecting setting a trash icon out. This trash icon, I'll just also get it on that one here, just to make sure that we get a. Oops. This one. Enable when trash icon is greater than 0. There. So that one lights up yellow when it's trying to trash something. Then we're going to get a condition. That one here. And this one will only be available when trashing is active. Oops. Greater than 0. Yep. And that goes here, and it goes there. Okay. So then this has to go somewhere. Good, like this. Then I need to delete it, and it actually needs to delete pretty quickly. So I am thinking if I do something like this, it might work, but then that one is not great either. Yeah, this doesn't matter. We can just go up here. So I would just, I'm saying anything that goes in here will just need to be deleted. I don't care what it is. It just deleted as fast as possible. There we go. So anything that comes in here, just delete it. This is just a quick deleter. It'll delete things very quickly. Let's see, what is the condition here for this? Yeah, it's not really getting in trouble. I think this actually should be higher, and I actually want these to be maybe legendary as well, just to make sure that they can store an ample amount. And that means this one could also be set to 20,000, which is a much better amount. There we go. That seems much better. Good. The way that I can do that is by just stopping the ejection here. That means this will just get stuck, and then it'll start filling this one up, and then we'll get this one going soon. There is another thing. I don't need these anymore, and I can also just say, okay, this thing here, this was also just, I have chosen that I'm just simply going to delete if there's some kind of surplus here. I understand that some people don't like deleting some epic quality or rare quality because over time it'll even out. But for me, I don't want it to jam. That's the only thing that matters, and therefore I might delete a little bit of intermediate quality. So what are we missing? Well, this one will gradually get closer to the 20,000 and then start deleting things. But we also need a little bit of build here, which should be like a simple build. We just need to make some iron or some red and green. That should be like this. And also, I think I'll just make it one tile apart. Some of this, because I need to just replace this one. And this should be pretty simple to make here. And I will get you this way. That's the green one is being done here, and the red one can just go like that. And again, we need some power poles. Yeah, and that also goes in. So the only thing we're missing now is get some here. And this will be that thing. And okay, so this is working. Now I also need some iron coming. So now I need iron coming in, and that. So again, we're just doing this in as simple a manner as possible. And here, this will now be the iron coming in. Yeah, that goes up here. And the iron should also be... the iron will come from that one. This will just be... yeah. That's going to be fine. And can you do that on the other side? Ooh, that's not great. The whole thing needs to be moved one tile up, I think. Because it gets a little bit too close. Yeah. So, move everything up a little bit. Alright, so a little bit more compacting up here, and then get it all the way up to the corner. Still have that beautiful one tile around the edges, which I really enjoy. And then we got a little bit more leeway here. So that's should be possible. This one is the outbound, and that one needs to go up. So we also need to make sure that we handle all of... Dude, why? You need to go further out then. This whole thing here. This whole thing. One further out, yes. Because this will take care of the stone that this one is producing, the incidental stone. I just need that to go out here. I need this here to be a lava inbound. So now I can actually delete this and actually get the lava inbound instead. We'll just assume that you have a lava available somewhere nearby. Then I am going to take you out here. And this will be... this will be one of those usual things. And then trash unrequested. And this one also goes up here. And... do I need... no, I don't need beacon speed. I can just do speed modules on this. I don't even know if I need it, but I can. So, will this get there? Well, when this one comes in, then we will. There. And there. Good. So this is now working. And it's going up here. The only thing that's not working is the copper. So I need to get the copper flowing upwards. That's not copper. That needs to be copper. Let's do this. And you delete that. Here. And load that into that. So that's working. And then the only thing that isn't available from lava is the plastic we needed here. And I don't have room for making plastic. So this is the one thing that we actually have to bring in. And this is what I said at the beginning when I said that the only thing that we need is actually plastic. So as soon as we get plastic flown in here from somewhere, I have no idea, but we'll get it, then we should start seeing the whole thing working. Right now it's starving on red circuits because we don't have the plastic yet. Come on, plastic. Make a big plastic build out here just to make sure that we get some plastic nearby. Just make it a little bit easier. There we go. So now it's, plastic is coming in and this one's working. And the whole thing will now start flowing and be happy. Alright, so this is basically the idea. So now the one thing we need to do is we need to take it for a spin and test it. The thing is, it's very important that you first let it run for a while, and then only at that point will you start benchmarking, because it does take quite a while to load up. So for example, this one is really not getting the plastic in here fast enough, so I'll just gracefully say that I want more plastic in here. There. Oops, this one. Just get that to 1000. It's just important that it doesn't run out of plastic. And this one can potentially use 10 plastic per second, but overall what we'll see is that we will be using... oh, actually this is a much better way of doing it. What I'll do here is I'll take this and take this into 10,000. There we go. So that fills up the entire block. What I will then do when I want to baseline it, then I will I'll see how much is being consumed and how much is being produced. So first we'll just let it run for a little bit. When I feel that it is reaching a steady state, then we'll do a benchmark. So now we reached a steady state. So what I will do is I will actually go here and I will pause it. Then I will remove this one so that I start with 10,000 in here, and then we'll see after we're done with this this benchmark run to see how much is remaining. Then I'm going to take all this out so that I'm sure that I don't have anything in here. And then this one is saturated at exactly the 1000. This one is saturated at whatever it's at. And everything else is sort of a full operational system. So this is the number of ticks in 30 minutes. So I'm going to run it at 8 speed for 30 minutes. So then we'll see how much we produce in 30 minutes. Let's go. And this is now after 30 minutes of runtime, and the game has automatically stopped, so it will be exactly 30 minutes of in-game runtime. And what we are seeing now is up here. I've linked it up to this one, so we can have 16,000 16,000 blue circuits, and whatever was here is going to be sort of that was what we also started with, so that's fine. And down here we have 3,700, actually 3,728. So I take the 10,000 we started with minus the 3,728, divide by 30 minutes, divided 30 minutes, and then divided by 30 seconds, and then we get 3.48 plastic per second is being consumed. And then we can also see up here, if we just take let's actually see this. This is 4,236. 36. Okay, so this is 4,236 times 4. There we go. And that is 9.41 legendary blue circuits per second. So this design here, this cute little city block, is actually taking, well, 3.5 plastic per second and generating 9.5 blue circuits, legendary blue circuits per second. I think that's absolutely amazing. And then, yeah, sure. You also need a teeny tiny amount of calcite, but who cares about that? And the rest is something we just have for free, lava and sulfuric acid. So this will basically mean that once you build this, you don't need to care about circuits anymore, because this is definitely going to get it. You're not going to need 9.4 legendary blue circuits per second. You might need it if you break it down and use the red circuits, or even then it is that simple. All you need to do is just copy it and then you get double up. It is that powerful. And then the question might be like, oh, but why would you want to do this if you could have the Space Casino? First of all, the Space Casino might be nerfed. The other thing is, like, if you have a Space Casino generating iron ore, do you really want to use that iron ore to make iron plates, to make green circuits, to make blue circuits? I don't think that's the more valuable when you have this as an alternative. So what we're really looking for is that this is always valuable, but it's also in another context, it's also even more valuable when if the Space Casinos get nerfed. There's one more concern or consideration about this, is that even if I just took all this and took the green circuits, and instead of making blue circuits out, just took the green circuits out and converted these into iron plates and copper plates, then I would get 11 iron plates and 4 copper plates per second from this one, which obviously is not a lot, but it's something. And it's also something you could say, hey, they might actually just if Space Casinos get nerfed, or if you don't like to use Space Casinos, that's also an option for just making this as a source of legendary plates. And but I think we have better ways of doing that. We did that in a previous episode, better ways to do iron plates, and copper plates are from LDS. But you know, there's other things to come, like steel, for example. Well, that's also easy to do because that's the same as iron. But gears, for example, could be a thing that we want to make in large quantities. So we'll be continuing to look at cool designs for how to make legendaries in large quantities with simple designs. But this is the design for today. I think this is an absolutely ridiculously effective design. It's super compact, fits in a city block, and has very simple inputs and outputs, and is it just basically sorts an entire problem for you. So you don't need to make a green circuit upcycler or a red circuit upcycler, because you only need the blue circuit, and then you can break it down from there, which is super amazing. So thank you very much for watching. Remember, this is available to Patreon supporters just as a nice crisp blueprint, or you can just look at this beautiful screen and then build it yourself and maybe make some improvements if you feel like it. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you everyone who joined in on the design process on Twitch. I'm streaming live Factorio on Sundays at 8 p.m. Central European Time on Twitch TV/Nilaus, so drop by and be part of the awesome design process. Thank you for watching. Until next time, take care and stay effective.